Your gala might have made money, but it still might be a terrible investment if we are not focused on this one metric. Hey, I'm Danny Rosa. As a benefit auctioneer, I've helped over 400 schools and nonprofits raise over $50 million. And what I have learned is that this one metric we're going to discuss is not coming up enough in conversations. So here's the deal. We do a good job measuring sponsorship dollars, attendance, amount of money raised. But the one thing that we are not doing a good job measuring, typically with most of my clients, is our team's time. How much time is it actually taking to plan and execute each of these fundraising streams? And where should we be dedicating our time? Now, to put this more visually simply, I want you to picture mowing a lawn. So let's say that you have agreed to be paid $100 to mow my lawn. It's not a big lawn, it's not a little lawn, it's just kind of an average sized lawn, if you will. And I'm going to pay you $100 to mow it. You might say, heck yeah, that sounds great. In 20, 30 minutes, I can make $100. That's a great usage of my time. But instead of me handing you a lawnmower, what would you think if I handed you a pair of scissors? And I expected you to do the same job for $100 with a pair of scissors. You might pretty quickly and pretty easily step back and say, no, thank you. That is not worth my time. Now, this is the same exact thinking with our different revenue streams and our different fundraising streams. Is the same amount of money does not necessarily take the same amount of time. And this is something that we want to be cognizant of and we want to be tracking within our teams. So the metric is revenue per estimated planning hour. So essentially, how much money are we making from each fundraising stream? But we want to look at the hourly rate based on the ROI of each fundraising stream. So when we break down these numbers, there's obviously like the event days. There's the hours you're at the event, right? Setting things up, selling things, closing things out. But then there's our estimated planning hours. So this is everything before the event, committee meetings, sending emails, following up on emails, driving around to pick up silent auction baskets, wine donations, calling major donors to see if they will be plants in the paddle raiser, reaching out to any connections you have to try and get donations for your live auction. Estimated planning hours, so all the stuff happening beforehand. In my estimations overall, a gala takes over 500 hours of planning, probably closer to 650 hours, just depending upon how new the event is, how much momentum you have already coming in, the resources you already have. If we take those hours and we try to focus on the exact hours we are spending only on these fundraising streams, I've estimated about 213 hours. So again, I've gone through the back and forth communication to get packages, the drive time, the decision making we have to do. I've gone through all of that and I've compiled this 213 hours. So we're going to go through a real life example here to see what that 213 hours breaks down to be. We have an event that raised $61,000 across their fundraising streams. We had over 150 guests. Let's look at the numerical breakdown here. So to begin with, a paddle raiser. Their paddle raiser made them $40,000. Their live auction made them $12,000. Their silent auction made them $7,000. Their additional fundraising, wine pulls, drawings, ring toss, you name it, that made them $2,000. Now let's look at the amount of time each fundraising stream typically takes. Paddle raiser maybe 30, live auction 40, silent auction 118 hours, additional fundraising 25 hours. So when we look at the revenue made per estimated planning hour for each of these streams, the paddle raiser $1,333 per hour, the live auction $300 per hour, the silent auction $59 per hour, and additional fundraising $80 per hour. I don't know about you, but it makes my stomach turn when I see $59 per hour in a silent auction and over $1,300 per hour in a paddle raiser. I think about you all, and you are some of the most spread thin human beings I've ever met, nonprofit leaders. I mean, you wear so many hats and you make so many things happen. And for you to be spending your precious time earning $59 an hour versus over $1,300 an hour, like I said, it just kind of makes my stomach turn a little bit. Now, imagine, what if we spent those hours working on the silent auction and instead we were working on the paddle raiser? Let's look at it this way. 1 hour spent on improving the paddle raiser generates more money than 23 hours into a silent auction. Or let's look at this another way. The paddle raiser generated 66% of the revenue with 14% of the planning time, whereas the silent auction consumed 55% of the planning time with only 11% of the revenue. This is a very different picture than just saying our silent auction raised us $7,000. The revenue alone doesn't paint the picture that we need in order to understand if this is a good investment for our team. So when it comes to choosing our fundraising streams, we have to consider it this way. I know I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, we have to have a silent auction. Our guests love it. Or we have to have a silent auction. That's how we've done it every year. But if you start to break down these numbers, what your guests love is you making a difference in the community. They love being a part of that. If they knew that behind the scenes you were working on activities that were going to generate $59 per hour versus $1,300 per hour, I'm sure they would tell you to skip the silent auction in that case. So here's the takeaway. If you're going to mow a lawn, do you want to use a lawnmower or a pair of scissors? That is kind of where we are trying to look at with this metric. So revenue per estimated planning hour. This has to become part of the decision for you with your gala and your fundraising streams and where you're going to put your time and your team's time. To take this further, download our goal setting and ticket price calculator below to help you get into some of these numbers and calculate some of these things. Also, check out the rest of the Gala performance metrics videos that we have coming out here to kind of give you a complete picture of all the metrics to understand. And as always, we hope this is your most profitable gala yet.